You know that feeling? That sudden, inexplicable jolt of pure energy. An idea that arrives like a flash of lightning. A moment of clarity so intense, it feels like your mind just leveled up. What if that's just the trailer? A single spark from a hidden volcano of potential, dormant inside you right now? For thousands of years, from the dusty plains of the Indus Valley to the secret monasteries of Tibet, they talked about this. This wasn't some gentle, New Age metaphor for feeling good, no. To them, it was a sleeping serpent, a biological fire coiled at the base of the spine, with enough power to forge a human being into something more. They called it kundalini. The modern world has filed it away under mythology, a quaint story. But what if the ancients weren't telling a story? What if they were writing a user manual, a guide to a piece of biological hardware we've completely forgotten we possess? What we're about to explore isn't just a forgotten secret. It's a journey into the forbidden technology of the soul. A power that doesn't just promise to change your perspective, it threatens to rewrite the very code of what it means to be human. So if Kundalini is a kind of hidden human technology, where is the instruction manual? Well, it wasn't published in a book you could buy at an airport. For centuries, this knowledge was a closely guarded secret, passed down orally from master to disciple in the esoteric traditions of India, primarily within the complex web of teachings known as Tantra. Picture this: a hidden ashram nestled in a valley of the Ganges. The air is thick with incense and the sound of chanting. Here the human body isn't seen as just flesh and bone. It's a microcosm of the entire universe. And within this universe, the texts describe a subtle anatomy, an invisible network of energy channels or nadis. Think of it as a spiritual nervous system. At the center of this system is the main channel that runs along the spine, the sushumna. And along this central highway, you have the chakras, 7 spinning vortices of energy. Each one a transformer stepping up the voltage of consciousness, governing everything from our most basic survival instincts to our highest spiritual insights. The entire system is designed for one purpose: to safely conduct the raw, primal power of the awakened Kundalini serpent from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. When the serpent finally reaches its destination, the result occurs supposedly samadhi, enlightenment, a state of non-dual consciousness where the observer and the observed become one. The drop merges with the ocean. The individual software reconnects to the cosmic mainframe. Sounds poetic, right? But the ancient warnings were deadly serious. This is not a gentle self-help process. It's described as playing with fire. If awakened prematurely or without proper guidance, the raw energy could wreak havoc. Imagine plugging a household lamp into a high-voltage power station. The results can be catastrophic, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We don't have to look far for a chilling modern example. Consider the case of Gopi Krishna, a 20th century Kashmiri office worker. He wasn't a guru or a lifelong yogi. He was just a regular man who, during one meditation session in 1937, accidentally triggered a full-blown Kundalini awakening. According to his own extensive writings, what followed wasn't blissful enlightenment, but 12 years of hell. He described a torrent of light and sound, unbearable heat, and a mind teetering on the brink of insanity. He felt as if his entire nervous system was being forcibly remade. He was a living laboratory for a process he couldn't control. It was only after years of this agonizing trial by fire that the energy stabilized, leading him to a profound and permanent state of expanded consciousness. His story serves as a terrifying and fascinating testament that this serpent has real teeth. This raises a crucial question. Why was this knowledge so suppressed? Was it only because of the danger? Or was it also about control? Think about it. Our system that promises to give any individual direct access to a higher state of consciousness without the need for an intermediary, that's a direct threat to any established power structure, be it religious or political. Perhaps the gurus of old weren't just being cautious. Maybe they were guarding the ultimate source of power. After all, I guess you don't just hand over the launch codes to the universe to anyone who asks. Already intrigued? Hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because the most mind-blowing part of this story isn't that this system existed. In ancient India, It's the eerie echoes of this exact same concept, the serpent, the spine, the ascent to enlightenment, that we find in cultures all over the world, cultures that supposedly never spoke to each other. So what if this isn't an Indian invention at all? What if it's a universal human inheritance hidden in plain sight? So the sages of India documented this incredible system. But here is where the story truly breaks wide open. What if this wasn't an Indian discovery at all? What if it was a rediscovery? A mapping of a territory that is native to all of humanity? Let's take a flight of imagination out of India and land in the blistering sands of ancient Egypt. Look at the ceremonial crowns of the pharaohs. What do you see rising from the brow right over the third eye? A cobra. The uraeus. Scholars say it's a symbol of divine authority and protection, but what if it's more? What if it's a statement? Not just a symbol of power, but a symbol of power activated. A public declaration that the serpent of consciousness has risen up the Jed pillar, the symbol of Osiris's own spine, and opened the door to divine perception. Now, let's jump across the Mediterranean to ancient Greece. We've all seen the symbol, Eye of Hermes the caduceus. It's two serpents spiraling up a central staff. It's often confused with the symbol of medicine, but its original meaning was far more esoteric. It represented alchemy, communication, balance. But look at it through the lens of kundalini. A central staff, the sushumna, two spiraling serpents, the dual energy channels of Ida and Pingala. Is this just a wild coincidence? Or are we looking at the exact same schematic, drawn by a different culture? The parallels become almost unnerving when we look at traditions we thought we knew. In the biblical book of Numbers, when the Israelites are bitten by fiery serpents, what is Moses instructed to do? He is told to craft a serpent of bronze and raise it up on a pole. Those who looked upon the elevated serpent were healed. Think about that. The very thing that was causing death and chaos when lifted up and consciously faced becomes the source of salvation. Is this not a perfect allegory for the wild, dangerous kundalini energy, tamed and raised up the spine to become a force of healing and transformation? What if these aren't just similar myths? What if we are looking at a single universal instruction, a piece of a forgotten global science translated into the local language of each culture? The feathered serpent god of the Maya and Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl, a serpent that gains wings and ascends to the heavens. The dragons of the Far East, powerful serpentine beings of energy and wisdom. It's the same core concept over and over again. The serpent, the spine, the ascent, the awakening. This leads to a staggering possibility. The knowledge of Kundalini may not be a philosophy we learn, but a biological inheritance we remember. A forgotten birthright encoded into our very DNA. So, what would happen if we as a species collectively remembered how to access this power today? Imagine a world where people could consciously unlock latent potentials, heal themselves, and access higher states of awareness. It would be the single greatest evolutionary leap in human history. But it would also be the ultimate Pandora's box. A power so profound could be used not just to enlighten, but to control. If this technology is real and built into every one of us, it begs the most important question of all. Who or what benefits from us believing it's just a myth? So we've journeyed from a simple, familiar spark of inspiration to a global conspiracy of silence. We've seen how the blueprint of the fiery serpent isn't confined to one culture, but echoes in the symbolism of the world's greatest civilizations. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all isn't hidden in a forgotten tomb or an ancient text. Maybe it's sleeping right now, coiled at the base of your own spine. In our age of digital avatars and AI, we are obsessed with upgrading our external world. We seek power in technology, in data, in networks that span the globe. But what if the ultimate upgrade has been offline this entire time? An internal technology, an organic spiritual engine, waiting for the right password to boot up. The ancients warned of its power, the potential for both divine illumination and psychotic breakdown. It represents a terrifying and beautiful duality, the capacity for self-destruction and self-creation locked in the same embrace. The ancient maps are there, scattered across cultures and continents, all pointing to the same inner treasure. The question is no longer whether the serpent exists. The question is, are we as a species and as individuals brave enough to awaken it? This idea of a hidden code, a secret architecture within our own biology, naturally opens another door. Because if the human body is a temple with a forgotten blueprint, what about the great temples and cathedrals of the world? Are they just stone and glass? Or are they also hiding a message in plain sight, a form of frozen music designed to influence our consciousness? Like this journey? Hit subscribe so you don't miss where we hunt next. And that's our expedition. For now, a wild mix of documented traditions and tantalizing what-ifs, all grounded in fascinating bibliographical sources. What do you believe is the true nature of the sleeping serpent?